Well, time to start changing out these gauges. I think my fuel gauge is off. I know the volts don't work. That broke a while ago. The temp broke. The oil works. And the tach reads crazy. I think it's just a resistor and a tach, but I got these 4 gauges. We're going to change them out. We're going to put some lights in there that will be extra bright and clean this all up. And see how it works. We also have the little Ziploc bag for the screws to make sure we don't lose nothing. So start taking them out. Yeah, and just to make it clear where all the screws are on this thing, you can see there's 3 over there, like this sits up this way. There's 3 right there. There's 1 there, obviously. There's 1 over here. There's 1 on the side. There's 2 on the 4 on the bottom. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 on the other side. And you can see it says, if you can see those lights, it says choke, bright, brake. I don't know what that says, but probably there's a lot of bulbs I need to change in this thing, man. So we'll get it fixed up and save all the butt screws in a plastic bag. You know, the best way to do it, a container or Ziploc bag. Okay, so this is the glass piece. You can see this needs to be polished up and cleaned up. Dirty. It just sits in there. These 2 slots, 2 1/4-inch bulbs. I actually have the battery disconnected while I'm doing this, just as a side note. And this was the stock for the clock on the Tach tach, which the clock never really worked right. Kind of aggravated the tach doesn't work right, so I'll just leave this up here for now. Put the stuff in the bags. And I'll take this out. It's actually freaking easy, man. I'm surprised. Well, it's a lot simpler than I thought. A lot easier than the new cars. So, you know, after you take the black plastic piece off, whatever it was, this comes off. And then there's 3 screws, 1/4-inch. 1 here, 1 there, and 1 there. Then this pod just sits in there like that. Which makes me wonder if makes me wonder if it's in there good or something. Probably alright. Now the thing is, I'm going to change these bulbs out. Actually, I'm going to connect the battery up. We'll see what kind of well, you could tell that bulb's burned out. That one's burned out. I got 2825 bulbs instead of the 194. And Jesus, I hope these bitches are not in here too bad. Like, you know, they don't break off. And you can see this crap. I think I could fix this tach. I found something. There's a resistor value that goes bad. It needs to be 200 ohms. Looks like it's between pin 4 and pin 10. That's what makes the tach go all wacky. So I'm going to see what bulbs are burned out on this. I'm going to connect the battery up, see what happens here. Well, turning it on, you can see which 3 are burned out. 1, 2, 3. So we'll change those 3. This is a hell of a lot easier than I thought. This is not, man, you get these newer cars, they're not like this simple. Well, yes and no, it depends on what it is. But the newer Chevys taking out, I don't know, they're not as easy as this. This doesn't even look bad to change the whole dash pad. Now to pull out these bulbs, you got to be careful because these are old cars. I made this, you know, tape the sticky side over here. So hopefully that can pull it out without screwing it up. There it is. See that? Yeah, baby. Stuck on there. Well, you can see these 3 bulbs are still burned out. I probably changed them a while ago, but I put the 2825 bulb in there. You can see it's brighter than the other ones. So I'm going to put them in there. That'll help it anyway. Now I took the 2 screws that hold the tack on. This tack might be screwed up anyway, but because it's not at 0. But if it reads wrong, I think it's this chip right here. Pin 4 and pin 10 is, in other words, you count from, let's see, well, you see there's a chip over here, right? It's the resistance in that chip. It needs to be about 200 ohms. And let me get something to point to it. Okay, so you can see the chip, you know where it is. There's 2 chips, but it's this one. And it's like, you got pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you count it 1, 2, 3, 4. That pin, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to that pin, pin 4 to pin 10 has to be about 200 ohms resistance, or 208 actually, I think it is exactly. But 200 will put you within 50 RPMs. So what they do is you actually cut the solder on this, and let me check it first though, see if that's a problem. You know, if that's around 200 ohms, then I got another problem. Well, it looks like I have infinite resistance, which means between pin 4 and pin 10 on this chip, like I said, when you count down the one side here, it goes from 1 through 7, then count from the bottom 8 through 14. So it's the third one from the bottom on the right side as we're looking at it. Right, you can see this part is up here. That's the way it's facing, right? That would be pin 10, and the other one's pin 4. So I put a meter on it. It shows infinite resistance, which means that could be bypassed and put a 200 ohm resistor in it. It should make the tack work right. That's why the tack's going all the way to the right. It's going like that. Anyway, not too worried about that right now, but one step at a time. That's the way I look at it. Well, as I suspected, it's a socket. You can see the ground, see? Starts working. I'll probably fix that. But first, I want to get this gauge package in there and see how it works. Okay, so this is the new old gauge. Well, it says used gauge. It's in good shape. What I'm going to do is I want to clean these pins up first. I'm going to use put a little bit of real light lubricant on a, WD-40, whatever you want to call it, on the pins. Just in the back, I had this covered up just very carefully. Put a little bit on there. I'm going to use this real light wire wheel on the Dremel on slow speed to make sure these pins are nice and clean, so when they push in there, it should make good contact. Okay, you can see the pins are nice and shiny clean. The next thing is I'm going to put a very light coat of dielectric grease on them to keep them from corroding, which still has good contact. I kept the cardboard over the front. This might be a few part series because I'm thinking I'm going to nitpick this because I don't use this car too much. And, well, probably I'm going to get pretty freaking nitpicky when I go over this car piece by piece. I'm just getting things that aggravate me the most first, and just showing you how to do it, because actually I'm surprised this is a hell of a lot easier than working on these new cars. Oh man. Anyway, I thought these were bad back in the day. These are freaking easy. Well, I'm making some kind of progress. I got the middle light working. The volts works. The volts worked on the other gauge. It was the contacts were bad, and I didn't realize these were the indicators over here. That's what those are. One of them had to be changed out anyway. You can see what's going on with the tack, see? It's got a bad resistor in there or something. This, I'm not sure if the temp works yet. I'm going to check the wire by the sending unit where it made contact. It might be dirty or something. Looks like the fuel gauge, the sending unit is bad, so I'm gonna drop the gas tank. But see this? That's the contact. Not making good contact. See that? See how it dropped? Just clean that too. I gotta squeeze those things together, those little clips together a little bit better in there. Well, I'm going to clean this up thoroughly, because for now the real problem looks like the gauge, the fuel gauge is the sending unit, the temperature gauge also the sending unit, but nice bright lights behind there. I got volt gauge. I had the volt gauge on the other gauge anyway. Keep the old gauges. Pretty much see what's going to happen with the Tach. I'll take this out later. For now, I'm just going to clean it up. And you notice I have this plate that goes over this, because it's interesting, because I didn't realize there was a. I thought maybe there was a different speedometer for a 4-speed car. This is a factory 4-speed car. It's just a plate that goes over that. So that's interesting. Anyway, so I'm just gonna clean everything up real good, especially this shit. Wow, pretty dirty. So polish it up. Put a little furniture polish on it, and I have to look at, well, the sending unit. Guess I got to drop the gas tank. I know I got a lot of gas in there, but I don't have that much. No way. I don't think so. The gas gauge was always kind of screwed up, but it was kind of like, it was, well, I don't know. I'm probably just gonna have to drain it and find out, what it says. That's the only way, because it used to say too high, and then when it got down, it went down pretty fast. It really does need a sending unit, and it looks like the temperature gauge needs a sending unit. But step one, let's call this part one. And I already said I think I know what's wrong with the Tach. I'm going to try to fix that myself. Seems all right. I'm going to keep these gauges. I'm going to keep them in that box with all the packaging and stuff. These gauges probably are okay. They're probably okay. I got 2 sets of good gauges. Yeah, I was just going over this with some pledge, but actually what I need to do is they got stuff that's like blacks out the trim on the exterior of the car. It's not like a paint. It's kind of like a dye almost. I'll probably go over it with that. But another thing is, I remember like back in the late 70s, they said American cars are coming out. They were like not that good, and the Japanese cars are really great because, I don't know, the gas crisis. I noticed this thing, now it's nice and tight because I used tape, so when it snaps in, it takes up that room. This is like a little, I don't know what the hell goes in there, some kind of gauge or something, maybe a clock. I don't know, it's got the tick-tock clock, whatever, Tach. But this would rattle. Then I'm thinking, if they used a little bit of like soft rubber in a lot of these plastic components behind them, when you're driving a car, it would feel like it's so much more solid. And all those little yuppie reviewers back in the 70s who were saying, oh, these American cars are so quality. You know what I mean? It's all subjective. So, actually, I'm going to do, well, that's all I got to do is put this back in, and just figured I'd point that out, because if you ever want to make your car rattle-proof after you do this, you can do it. See how it's clipped in there, but there's a little bit of tape to take up the slack, so that piece, that was a rattle noise. So we got rid of that. Well, I just put it back together because I don't want to leave nothing apart. All the screws are in it. I bag everything, like I say, dash glass screws and whatever, everything gets labeled. So, I'm not sure if the temperature gauge works or not. I don't think it does. I think the gauge actually probably works. It might be the sending unit, but then again, I didn't really warm the car up enough. The fuel gauge might be working because the car might be full. So I filled it up with gas cans right to the brim where it was almost pouring out, and I only used it 10 miles, so maybe it is full. I don't know. But it looks like, well, this gauge always worked. That gauge works. This looks like I can do the resistor between pin 4 and pin 10. I can do that later. don't know if you could tell. You can tell in there. Yeah, you see the light? See? Definitely a lot brighter. So I couldn't even see how fast I was going before. See that? Definitely the wipers. So that's a major improvement. If there is something wrong with this fuel gauge, it's the sending unit, it's not the gauge. Which means you have to drop the tank. If there is something wrong with this, temperature sending, it might be the sending unit, or it's probably just dirty up there by the sending unit. So the only thing I really got to do is fix the tach or replace it. I think I could fix it. Tach is like 150 bucks. Resistors are pennies. I think that's all it is, resistors. And I'll actually do a separate update on that later, but I kind of showed you what it was. You actually have to take out that pin 4, remove the connection there, and then jumper something. And with 200 ohms, or 208 ohms actually, but 200 ohms will get you really, really close. So you can see how the shit just, and yeah, the turn signals work. So it's cool. Yeah, one step at a time. That, you know, I'll go on to something else. You know, they've got another stupid car. I'm gonna get this El Camino probably fixed up really good. I'll just do it in stages though.